welcome to part 2 of this interview with Georgia about Among Us, and let's get right to it. You mentioned that there's voice chat and text chat, and in that case, you can also play with people you know and with complete strangers, right?
Yeah.
So could you tell us what are the differences between the two and which one do you prefer?
The differences between the two, obviously, are on one hand, you're playing with strangers, and on the other hand, you're playing with people that you know or at least familiar with. With strangers, with like random people, the games go a lot more quickly. The voting takes a lot less time because everyone, like, you don't know each other, so you don't really know like who to trust. And so if someone says like, oh, red is sus, then everybody votes off red. And then if red isn't the imposter, then everybody votes off whoever said red is sus. And so it just goes very quickly, and there's not really as much like wiggle room, I guess. There's also like problems with like hackers or like very toxic people that are on the random chat. So I don't really like playing in the public rooms because of that. It can be very toxic, especially for like a girl, because or even like a child. There's like been a lot of problems with people who are like, oh, I shouldn't like change my behavior because children might be playing, because children shouldn't be playing. Their parents shouldn't be allowing them to play. And like that doesn't really matter if they should, it just matters if they are, and they are playing the game. So you need to, because you're an adult, you need to change like your behavior. And I feel like there's a big like gap in that sort of aspect where it's like that there's a lot of adults that are like trying their best to be open and all that kind of stuff, and then there are other adults that are just there being cruel, honestly, which I don't understand. But that's like the problem with any like really popular game. And once it like declines in popularity, I'm sure that there will be less and less of those kind of people. And there was also like just recently there was this hacker that hacked into the game, and it would literally like get hacked. And I don't know if you heard about this, but he literally like hacked into every single game, even like private games, and he would like say like, vote for Trump, check out my check out my YouTube channel, and it would just like spam the chat with that same thing. And then the developers had to just like completely like shut down the game for like a few hours so they could like work out the hacking. But yeah, like
wow.
It's really sad that that's like a thing that happens, you know. And I feel like that's more of a reflection on people than the game.
Yeah.
But so I don't really like playing with like random people, even though it was like a good start, because I did find like the first time I played, I did find a good group of people that like were really nice and really good. Although there were like still people who would like say just really bad stuff that I'm not going to get into. But then I ended up finding this Discord that was just a group of girls and like non-binary people. It was really, even though they were still strangers, it was nice to have like that sort of like bubble where it's like you knew that everybody in this group were not toxic and wouldn't say like really terrible things and that kind of thing, and wouldn't act inappropriately. And that's where I then like found friends that I could then start playing a lot with. And that brings me to like how dynamic changes when you're playing with friends, is like now that you know somebody, you know how they act when they're imposter or crew, because there really is like a crew sona and an imp sona where you act a certain way when you're one person or the other. And you can also have a lot more fun with it. Like you can just do like silly games that aren't competitive in the least. Like there was one where I had just had a really, really bad day, and I was like, hey guys, I just want to like let off some steam. If I'm imp next time, please don't, just leave me alone. And so they did, and I ended up like killing people in front of everybody, and like in the chats everybody was like, it's definitely not her, it can't be her, nuh-uh, no way. And then I ended up like venting right in front of an entire group of people, like the entire ship, and everyone was just like, I definitely did not see them vent just then. Like that didn't happen. It must have been a glitch or something. So you can have like super fun games like that where it's just like just a completely different dynamic and everything. And you can also play like other versions of the game. I guess you could say like hide and seek is one. You turn off the lights. The imp has like a very small field of vision, and all the crewmates have to finish their tasks before the imp finds them, because the imp will just kill them immediately, and everyone knows who the imp is, but they have to do it like before the imp kills everybody. So there's no like intrigue or anything like that, but there is like, oh my gosh, I have to run away from this murderer, you know? So they're like different like versions of how you can play from like the original intent, I guess.
So it sounds like when you're with friends, you have more freedom to play around and do whatever you want, basically, with the material you have there.
Yeah, exactly.
Cool. Yeah, that brings me to the last part of this interview. Is that why do you think this game is so popular? Because right now it seems like every Let's Player on YouTube is playing it. If you go on Twitch, it's everywhere. It's a whole phenomenon. Like, why do you think it's gotten so popular recently? And yeah, what is the appeal?
Well, I think part of it is clout, you know, with like how so many people are playing it right now. So clout is basically like doing something to gain internet followers or subscribers or likes or any sort of engagement in their content. So people who are searching for clout will do things not because they really want to do it, but because they want to gain those followers or likes or shares that come with doing this content.
So jumping on the bandwagon so you like gain more popularity?
Yes, that's exactly it. Yeah. But I also think that it's just appealing just because you always wonder how you would do in like a certain situation, right? Where you're like, oh, I could have done imp a lot better than this person that I'm watching is, so I'm now going to go play it. Or like, I bet I could have figured out who the imposter was if I was crewmate in this situation. And like, also, I think part of it is that every single game is a unique experience. It's just like so many different possibilities and so many different ways of being an imposter and being a crewmate. Like, it's not just like, oh, like, let's just be imposter and like kill people and then like try to hide. Like, you can like, in some of Homie Kevin's YouTube videos, he'll be like a pacifist where he won't kill anybody. Or you can like play a game where you only vote one time and that's it. Or like give yourself your own rules, or like other people have like their own rules. And like there are also just like very interesting spur of the moment things that can happen that that probably won't ever repeat, and it's just fun to be in that moment and to create those sort of memories.
So in other words, it's a very spontaneous game?
Yeah.
Who would you recommend this game to and why? Or would you recommend it?
I would definitely recommend it to people who have a few friends that are also playing it, because it can be very daunting to just like jump in and play with a room full of strangers, especially if you have like if it's hard for you to interact with like very toxic people, because it can get very toxic very quickly in those random chats. But if you find like if you have like at least one other friend that like likes playing the game, I would definitely suggest it. And then you can like start building a group of people who play it together, and then it would be very enjoyable. So I would suggest it to anybody who already has a friend playing it, basically.
So get indoctrinated for your friends.
Yes.
Yeah. Thank you again very much, Georgia, for doing this interview with me, and I hope you have a lot more fun playing Among Us in the future as well.
Thank you. I hope that this helps you start playing Among Us more.
Yes, everyone. Play Among Us.
Play it, please.